Binh Phuoc Province, May 1968. You're 19, moving with the 9th Infantry Division, and your stomach clamps down hard enough to bend you forward. The danger isn't visible. It's the weakness, the sweat, the dizziness, and the fact you still have to pull security. A man who can't keep up becomes a sound in the jungle, and that can cost a patrol its pace, its spacing, and its safety. In this briefing, we're breaking down 4 health conditions that rarely made headlines, but quietly chewed through manpower. Dysentery, immersion foot, malaria, and sleep collapse. What hits you first is the gut. It starts as cramps you try to ignore, then turns into urgent loss you can't control. You keep moving anyway, because admitting it means slowing the element. The impact is plain. You fall back in the file. You stop too long. Your buddy starts watching you instead of the tree line. Army medical histories described acute diarrhea as a constant operational problem in Vietnam, with Shigella recognized as a common specific cause. This is where it turned dangerous. A patrol that should stay stretched out begins bunching around the man who's failing. A Marine later recalled, "Dysentery. I had 10 days of dysentery." 10 days means you're weak, dehydrated, and thinking about embarrassment when you should be thinking about mines and movement. The psychological effect is quiet panic because you watch strong men limp and you know it can happen to you next. From that point on, he wasn't mission capable. And once movement is compromised, the next threat goes after your judgment. Then the fever arrives and it changes how you think. Chills hit in the heat. Your hands fumble. Your thoughts get thick. Hours later, you're burning, then cold again, often returning in a cycle that can hit roughly every 48 hours. Around Pleiku in 1968, where units like the 18th Military Police Brigade ran convoys and security, mosquitoes were not background noise. Sick call logs and evacuation hospital summaries recorded malaria cases and relapses that pulled men out of the field and sometimes brought them back weak. Here's what most people miss. Fever steals judgment. You're still expected to stand watch and read the ground. Rick Ogden later recalled, "Like I had malaria in April of '68. I had malaria." The psychological effect is dread because you can feel your body turn on you without warning. Once you're evacuated for fever and confusion, many didn't come back to the same team. And when you return, you're stepping into nights that don't allow real sleep. By the end of a hard stretch, sleep becomes a rumor. You lie down with gear on because you're moving again soon. Mortars and rockets cut the night into pieces. Guard shifts blur. Your body never fully drops. After-action reports could count attacks and track rosters, but they couldn't measure what constant interruption did to nerves and decision-making. In Binh Phuoc in 1968, Greg Rivers remembered harassment that kept men jumping. "Can't get no sleep like that." He described attacks coming every 2 or 3 hours, sometimes for days. This is when it goes wrong. You miss small cues. You snap at friends. You start hearing movement that isn't there. Some men tried to stay sharp with coffee or pills, and that carried its own cost in tremors and bad calls. The psychological effect is hypervigilance that turns into exhaustion, and exhaustion that turns into mistakes. After that, return was unlikely because you weren't reliable. And even when the firing pauses, your body keeps acting like it hasn't. None of these conditions needed a headline to do damage. Dysentery, immersion foot, malaria, and sleep collapse didn't look heroic in a photograph, but they pulled men off the line, slowed patrols, and forced units to adapt. Water discipline, sock changes, malaria prevention, tighter guard routines, more medevacs for non-battle cases. What stayed with many men wasn't just the firefight, it was the moment their own body betrayed them mid-mission and the fear of being the weak link. Because in Vietnam, you didn't only fight the enemy in front of you, you fought the environment inside you. And that part rarely ended cleanly.